Hi guys, welcome to Interior Insights. I'm Jane and we are standing in an absolutely beautiful vintage Scandinavian apartment that has 75 square meters and is located in the vibrant Sternschanze, a really cool part in Hamburg in Germany. This apartment is located in a historic building like the many historic apartments that we have in Hamburg. The historic structure combined with the vintage designer icons and also newer and unique pieces is what really makes this apartment one of a kind and absolutely special. If you don't know me, my name is Jane and I'm an interior designer. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please consider subscribing. And now let's go and have a look at this absolute gem of an apartment. As soon as we enter into the apartment, we are greeted by a hallway that still has the original pitch pine wooden floors. And these wooden floors are very special because they are very typical for these historic Hamburg apartments. The walls have been painted in this pastel baby blue, and it just adds this light and airy and fun atmosphere that freshens you up when you enter or exit the apartment. And over here we enter the dining room area. The dining room area itself isn't too big, but it has a very classical and symmetrical floor layout that creates this harmony and makes it appear much bigger than it is. So in the center of the dining room we have a big table that just has this very authentic charm. You can see stains here and there, and it just has a very authentic and nice touch. And around it we have a lot of different designer chairs. On this side of the table we have two of my absolute favorite chairs, I think of all time. They are by Tone, and well, I'm sure you know them. I just forgot the English name of what they're called. And on the other side we actually have two different types of chairs that spice everything up a little bit. Over here we have a chair that looks like an old former office chair by Cartel, and it just adds this very 80s vintage vibe to the whole entire design. And over here we have yet again a different type of chair with a different structure and silhouette, and the material is metal wires. And this very classical and sophisticated room layout that is very horizontal and has a lot of symmetry is really broken open and accentuated through these different types of furnitures. And you can just see that there is a perfect play between structure and order and just this free flowing chaos and creativity in the design. On the floor beneath the dining table we have a vintage Persian carpet that again adds weight to the entire design and just gives it a sense of groundedness and pulls all of the energy of the room really to the bottom. And of course, in every single room we always need a focal point, and in this room it is absolutely this gorgeous Louis Poulsen lamp. I don't know if you guys know this lamp, but it has absolute beautiful indirect lighting that just illuminates the entire room. And it's a sculptural artwork. And if you want to elevate and improve your design at home, you can check out the free design guide that I've created. I will link it in the description below, or you can just scan the QR code. The color palette of this apartment is very nuanced, and you have a lot of different textures and tones paired with each other. And this is what doesn't make this very calm color palette boring, because whenever you have a very beige and brown design, it can feel very flat, but the couple who lives here really managed to pull out a lot of energy and to just accentuate their color palette. Another little detail that I love in this room is that the walls have a lot of different colors. So 3 of the walls are actually painted in this more sandy, even almost soft yellow tone, and the backdrop over here is more of a darker brown. And it's as simple as that, as just painting one wall in a slightly different color that can just really create this visual depth and excitement in your design. When the sun is shining through the big historic window, you can take a seat in your vintage orange armchair and read a book or enjoy a cup of tea. The dining room and the living room are actually connected by these two gigantic doors, and you can just open the doors and let the energy roam freely and just have this extended living room. And I love it whenever you are sitting in one room and you are able to look into another room and you just feel the design and also the different colors coexist and just create this tension. The living room is filled with one gigantic comfortable couch that owns the room and really has a lot of visual weight. The color palette are very nuanced, and for a while the couple felt like something was missing because you had all of these different shades of beige. And it was really this vintage Usumhala shelf that is kept in this bright orange that really pulled the design together and was just the source for a lot of new inspiration. In every direction we look, we have a little thoughtfully curated composition, and it almost feels like you're kind of walking through a museum. This wall over here is a perfect example of how textures do their magic. There's white books, there's wax from the candles, there's corals, there's vases, there's glass, and you just have all of these different materials in the same color that just create this very rich and in-depth design language. You know, I love it whenever people manage to keep their family's treasures and family's furniture and just to pass them on from generation to generation. And this is exactly what happened with this Persian carpet over here. When the family moved to Germany a few generations back, the father actually smuggled this exact Persian carpet. And this is just a family piece that has been kept throughout generations. And I love it whenever these pieces are cherished and kept. A Persian carpet with a bold and graphic print usually wouldn't really fit into like an aesthetic and Scandinavian super polished home. But here it fits perfectly because it just breaks up the room and breaks out of this perfect world and just adds some tension to the design. And I love it whenever people manage to break the rules. We have a see-through sofa table that just lets you look right through to the carpet. And I love how the see-through sofa table again has a metal magazine stand under it. And you just have lots of different layers of the design. And that is what really makes it so exquisite and just lets your eyes wander non-stop. Over here we come into the kitchen, and the kitchen is just a long, narrow room that has been turned into a little Scandinavian minimalist sanctuary. So the way that I like to think about design is that whenever you leave a space and think back to a restaurant or a cafe that you went, what you mostly remember is just color and atmosphere. And this kitchen just has this beautiful, calming, coffee, light brown, beige atmosphere that you can just soak up yourself in. But it isn't just your boring beige kitchen, because it just has this very rich layering and a very nuanced and properly selected color palette. So the walls are painted in this coffee cream-like color. Because it's a very narrow space, on one side of the kitchen we have the entire kitchen counter spanning from one side to the other side. The kitchen panels are kept in this dark brown wood and topped off with a gigantic marble countertop. And this just creates this very clean and elevated design. And all of these modern design pieces are then again paired with vintage pieces from the family, such as this vintage cabinet that we have standing over here. And my favorite part about the design is this old string shelf that has been perfectly curated with different pieces of pottery or ceramics or a little matcha bowl that has actually been sourced somewhere like more in the farm side areas of Germany for a very good price, because the person who was selling it didn't really know what they had. And just in the string shelf you can see marks and clips and little scratches, and this is really what makes the design so perfect, because it's not about buying expensive designer items in a store, but it's really about selecting a few pieces that have a bit of history. In the corner of the kitchen we have a round, almost black little coffee table where the couple has breakfast or enjoys a cup of coffee in the morning. Because we don't have too much space, this round table is the perfect solution. It adds again a new type of geometry to the space and makes it seem a little more organic. And to further break up these straight and angular lines, we have a lot of plants placed mindfully here and there just to add this little burst of green energy. You can see that the couple just has a love for collecting different, beautiful, unique things and just curating them together. And it's all of these little different cups and mugs that just turn it from a boring beige kitchen into a very exciting and authentic design story. This is the bedroom, and the bedroom is just one little sanctuary. You have much more color than in the rest of the apartment. The walls have been painted in a dark petrol green, and you just have this bold, intense atmosphere of the color. And this relaxing and calming dark green tone has been paired with a pop of dirty rosé, and this just creates this very amazing and surprising color palette. I'm in love. And this is a very simple trick that has been applied. The couple basically took just one darker color, one green, and just paired it with another complementary color with a pink. And this just creates this very well executed design feeling. As soon as I entered this room, I immediately felt a sense of calm, and it's always very satisfying whenever you have a perfectly curated space that feels like it's out of a magazine book. The bed is from May, and it also has this velvety dark rosé bed frame that has just been covered and upholstered in this thick velvet fabric, and it just adds this very cushiony and soft aspect to the design. And of course, this room has a lot of different types of fabrics to just add this extra layer of comfort, because this is the primary bedroom. And on the big window that is framing one side where all of the beautiful light is coming in right now, we have a big golden luxurious curtain rod, and again these dark rosé velvet curtains. The curtains again accentuate the height of the historical ceiling that we have here. And you can see when the couple designed this, they just paid immaculate attention to detail to add more coziness to the bedroom. Because this is a primary bedroom, we have a lot of different layers of textiles placed on top of each other to just create this rich and luxurious layering. Another aspect in this room that creates this hotel-like atmosphere is that we have this almost walk-in wardrobe niche over here. And even though we don't have that much space for a proper walk-in wardrobe, the niche that was created through these wardrobes basically creates your own little walk-in closet. And the wardrobe perfectly blends and fades into the background because it beautifully matches the dark green painted walls. So this is the bathroom, and we are very lucky here because many historic apartment buildings in Hamburg in Germany, but also in most places that have historic buildings, usually the bathrooms are very small. I know a lot of spaces that only have 1 or 2 square meters left to spare. And I believe that the reason for this is because when the apartment buildings were built, you actually used to not have the bathroom in your own apartment, but rather somewhere outside. The bathroom has been renovated to feel very calm and minimal, and to just provide a clean backspace and to elevate the design and to add a touch of personality. The couple has created a lot of little compositions here and there to make this white canvas their own. And this is also something you can do at home if you think you have like a white boring bathroom, to just add items that usually wouldn't belong to a bathroom, like a little mirror or a little candle, and this will really elevate your own design and just tell your own personal story. Another little area of comfort that was created that is also very simple is that here, on top of a low-profile shelf, a sheepskin fur has been placed, and this just creates the perfect little reading zone for when you're putting on a face mask or when you just want to relax. And this is a little example that turns a regular bathroom into really your own little private, comforting sanctuary. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure and subscribe. And I would love for you to comment if you like this apartment and which aspect was your favorite. Like I already mentioned before, you can check out the design guide. It is linked somewhere here around me. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.